Good evening, family. How are y'all doing this evening? This lovely evening? I'm doing pretty good. I'm winding down from what seemed to be a long day. Normally, I see it as shorter days, but today, for some reason, appeared to be a little longer than normal. I think because I uh, had some things I had to do today, and I dove in um, and it took me a while. I kind of lost myself in the day, and time just seemed to be dragging for some reason. I can't really explain it, but it seemed to be a longer day today than normal. But still, and yet it was a beautiful day. I really got a lot of things done that's been on my list, and so had a great day. And I hope and pray that you guys had a great day today as well. I wanted to come on and talk about a topic that's been pressing me for a couple of days, a topic that I'm hearing a lot of people discussing right now. And I'm thinking in terms of uh, what we're going through. Many of our people, they have trauma surfacing. The topic of trauma. We have a lot of people that's dealing with healing right now. A lot of trauma that is suddenly surfacing in our lives, and many of our people are confused about where it all comes from. I think a lot of us think that the trauma that we talk about, that we know about, is only the trauma that we can see um, and classify as trauma. And I wanted to come on today to kind of dig a little deeper into what all trauma consists of. What really is trauma? What is it, and how deep does it go? There's so much more to the definition of trauma and the characteristics and the symptoms of what it is than just what meets the eye. We um, they've kind of, the evil ones, I'm going to call them, they have done a very great job of hiding a lot of the pain and suffering that we have endured through the years. And they've been very clever in how they disguise it. And so many of us have went through many things that we didn't realize was trauma, and that it came from our open enemy instead of things that just happened, circumstantial things. And actually, it came from a system that created it. And so many of our people have no idea that these things have taken place and are still taking place. And so I wanted to come on today to make you guys aware, for those who are not. And many of you I know by now are aware, but there are so many of us that still don't know and don't realize how deep this trauma thing goes. So I want to kind of outline some points to give you an idea of what is the origin of trauma, because it doesn't start with what we see. It's much deeper, and it goes back much farther. So I'm going to start by labeling the topic, how the enemy tried to destroy you. Know that from the moment of conception, your life of trauma began immediately. The manner and position of the mother giving birth causes trauma to her and her child. The position that they have deemed the method that the mother is put in, and when she's positioned to give birth, that actual position that she's put in, laying on her back, initiates trauma for herself and her child. Then the forceps after the medication. Medication, many times they give mothers all kinds of medicine unnecessarily a lot of times, and then the forceps that sometimes they use to try and help deliver the child, the spanking on the baby's bottom, the artificial lights, all trauma. That's all systematic, unnecessary trauma. Cutting the umbilical cord, that's not necessary. If you do cut it, you wait until the nutrients has transferred over to the baby from the mother before you do that. But many doulas will, allow that umbilical cord to I call it rot. I don't like to use the word rot, but they'll let it fall off and not cut it. And by that time, the nutrients has transferred to the baby, giving the baby a great start and a healthy start. But the eye drops, the poisonous injections, all of that is trauma, unnecessary trauma. Then the transfer of ownership of the child, signing the birth certificate, turning the child over to the corporation, and assigning a straw man. That's something, guys, you need to kind of dig into and get some more information so you can really understand who really owns us. Do we own us, or does somebody else own us? The beginning of trauma, that transition that many of us are learning about today is a part of our trauma, the initial beginning of it. The child enters then into the third dimensional low frequency world where the superficial diabolical systems awaits them. The continuation of poisonous injections provided by the unnatural evil pharmaceutical systems. The school to prison pipeline, where the teachers teach you to follow instructions in a controlled environment, dumbing you down with lies on false history, math, false mathematical information, English, science, and even a language that is actually a spell. All of that is a part of your trauma. All while feeding you poisonous foods, poisonous formula for the new baby. Food not even fit for your anatomy, food that is not for you. Animal products, excess pure sugars, white sugars, dairy products, all food that's designed to harm you and not provide you the nutrition that your body craves and needs. Putting poison into all of your household supplies. All of this is a setup for trauma. Putting poison in the air, poison in the ground, creating a slow degenerative process and expecting a premature death, if you want me to just be point blank. Changing your air from hydrogen to oxygen. Exchanging the magnesium from the soil and the ground to iron. Creating GMO'd animals to infect you through all kinds of systems. Research that. They use religion, politics, racism, etc., all to subjugate you and ultimately destroy you, all leading to trauma. The stresses from all of the evils of those systems, is a part of your trauma, and it's very, very discreet. It's very, very, very hidden, but that's a part of your trauma. Weapons of mass destruction. The child support system, created to divide and conquer and destroy the so-called black family, putting the poisonous um, alcohol in your neighborhood, the crack cocaine, all of the drugs that they flood our neighborhoods, all of that is a part of your trauma. Um, and when I talk about religion and the fact that there's a church on every corner and how they use the church to control you, to take your funds, your money, and feed it to the pastors. And um, they use the pastors to lie to you, to control you. They are paid. They are paid money. They are allowed to get tax-free money just to keep you under control for this system. It's very, very sinister, a very sinister, diabolical, discreet system. There again, adding to your trauma, the abuse in the church. So many people, I've heard the stories. I won't even get into the details, but all of that adds to your trauma. CPS, Child Protective Services. Be a great idea to do your research on CPS, the system that we've all prided in, being a rescuer of children that have been mistreated, abused. And if you dig a little deeper, you'll see that CPS is not what they tell us it is. It's not what we thought it is. It's much more sinister system. They require you to purchase a license for everything. They have you to complete contracts, and all a part of control and a part of creating this fictitious, glorious world, when actually it is a system that offers you trauma. Purchase and pay for your home 3 times. If you look over your lending paperwork and you really pay close attention, you'll see the original cost of your home and then the cost by the time you pay for it in 30 years, which is what most people do, a 30-year contract. And you'll see that it's approximately purchasing your home and paying for it approximately 3 times the amount that you purchased it for. All of this evil. You actually never own your home, because if you fail to pay your taxes, if you stop paying your taxes, they can walk in and take your home just like that. So it's an evil system set up so that they win and you lose. But, in a diabolical, discreet way, it adds to your trauma. Constantly paying bills that, you go to your mailbox to get your mail, and every few days there's bills constantly increasing. It's like you can never get ahead. It's systematically set up that way. Adding to your trauma, the anxiety, the stress, it's just evil. And you would be shocked to know how much of that contributes to the pain and suffering that added to the other trials of life that you deal with on a daily basis. They have a loophole for everything set up, not allowing you to obtain wealth for your descendants, especially neuromelanated people. We have systematically been shut out from being able to live the glorious life that our counterparts, for the most part, other Caucasians, get a chance to enjoy. We've been systematically shut out from that. And that's done in a sinister, diabolical way. Very, very hidden, but it's there, and all of that contributes to our trauma. And not to add all of life's circumstances that we deal with that's outside of what the system does on the surface. And I won't even say all the time that it's done on the surface, because some of these tragedies that we have to endure as a people are sometimes contributed by the diabolical process of this system. So you deal with things constantly on a day-to-day life, and some of us, and I'll give myself for an example. I lost my mother at the tender age of 13, and and in the early years, my daddy, he had his own traumas from childhood, so he wasn't in a fitting way able to provide, or he just chose not to early on, and so that contributed to our trauma, my trauma, and my siblings. So losing a mama at a very young age, and you having to figure out how you're gonna take care of yourself, that's trauma. That's extreme trauma. And so throughout life, some of us have had, we've just been, lucky enough to, I say lucky, unlucky, to have to go through a lot of things that I would deem tragic, that has also contributed to our traumas. So trauma is not just those things that we see on the surface, those things that we experience. Trauma is much, much deeper. And I could go on and on. I only hint on a few things that this system has done to us to start the onset of trauma, and continue to do to us to this day. In this system that has initiated the traumas that we are trying to heal from, and the ongoing traumas, because the system is still not completely dead yet. It's on its way, but not completely yet. So I say all of that and share all of that just to try and give you guys a picture of what has contributed to what is happening to us now, where we are in this time, this age of Aquarius, where traumas are surfacing, and it's forcing us to have to deal with it, to have to fix it, to have to go in some very dark places, some of us, and work through some issues, because coming from that much and that level of trauma, especially for neuromelanated people, because we have just been the people that have been on the bottom for so long. We started out on the top, and we are returning back there, but they put us on the bottom, and they have been crushing our necks for a very long time. And so now we're dealing with these stressors, and these traumas are surfacing because we're in a divine time where the universe and Mother Nature and our ancestors are also helping us to bring, this stuff is surfacing, and we are being forced to deal with it, to fix it. And like I say, some of us are having to go into some very dark places in order to get it done, because there's different levels of trauma on top of what the system has done. Those other things that many of us have had to endure is also piled on it. And so, but it is a very, very trying time right now. I'm hearing from many, many, many people, family and friends, and childhood friends, and classmates that are going through things, and they're trying to work through them. They're trying to fix themselves. And it's happening all across the world, actually. And the great thing about it is we have help here now, because, and I won't get into that, that's a whole nother video, but because of the things that are taking place in the cosmos have come to help to assist us in, getting this repairing done, the sun. And like I say, our ancestors are back. They've never really left us, but they're here in a way that, they're showing us and assisting us in repairing ourselves. So family, let's continue to fix this stuff, because we're walking into a new world, many of us, and in order to go in this place, we're going to have to be a new people. And so that's the reason why healing is so important right now. And we are all healing, every one of us. If you especially look like me, you have suffered some trauma. You can't be on this planet look like me and not have suffered some trauma. So let's get healed, family. Let's tap into ourselves and seek the healing hands and the therapist if we need to do that, and whatever it is out there that resonates, that's gonna help us. Let's tap into it and get it done. I'm rooting for you as I repair things in myself. I'm rooting for you to also repair yourself. And so we're going to get there. We are working through these things together. So I just wanted to come on and talk about that. I want to just give you an outline of how deep the trauma is. And so if it seems like it's never ending in our healing, it's because it's so deep. But you will get there. Just keep doing what you're doing, and stay positive and continue to think positive, and always get some sun, because that is one of the major healers that are here today to help us. I thank you for coming on to watch this video. Thank you so much for that. And I want to ask you to click like and share the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I thank you for doing that. Click the notification bell so you can continue to get the content as I put out the information. And I just appreciate you guys so much. I love you. As I always say, you are my brothers and sisters. We are one together. We are a unit together. And we are going back into our rightful place on our thrones as a people where we're supposed to be. And we will thrive to be the greatest, because that's what we were born to be. So I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to say, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful evening this evening, and continue to take care. Again, I love you. Stay in peace. I'm going to say peace out to you, the correct peace sign, where we're joined together and not separated. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. Bye-bye, guys. Until next time. I'll talk to you later.